All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Ethan here, and I am coming to you from Mount Glennon Park in Morrison, Colorado. So this, as you can see, it said Mount Glennon bouldering area. So this park is mostly used for people doing bouldering and rock climbing and stuff like that. There is a short trail that heads up to the bouldering area, but from what I've seen, there is also another trail that you can take that will take you to along the ridge to the left of the bouldering area, where you can do some class 3 and class 4 rock scrambling, and a great place to do some of that and get some practice in. So I'm definitely excited about doing that. This park is in Morrison. It's actually right next to Red Rocks. You can see that's Red Rocks right there. So it's right on the other side of Morrison Road, right off of 470. And I'm excited. Looked at some pictures. This looks like a fun place. I've never been here before, so I'm excited to check it out and see what this area has to offer. Trail climbs up really quickly. You can see Red Rocks all down there. Looks like somebody's camping or something in that little notch in the rocks. That's interesting. But anyway, there's Morrison Road. You can see the town of Morrison right there, and 470 out there. There's Bear Creek Regional Park, and then Green Mountain over there. And you can see a little bit of downtown Denver off in the distance. It's actually kind of cloudy today, so the views aren't as good, but you see a couple of buildings from the Denver skyline. Good views. Good amount of ice on the trail so far, though. Hopefully that doesn't continue, but if it does, I did bring microscope. All right, well, I was following a little faint trail, and it just kind of ended right here. So I'm not sure if that's kind of the end of the trail, end of the line, and just scrambled from here. But I'm gonna go ahead and just guess that that's it. So I'm gonna start heading up these rocks here and see if I can get a better view of other parts of the ridge. See if I can keep going this way, or if I have to head back and try a different route. I'm about to find out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually really like this. The views keep getting better. There's, like I said, Red Rocks. You can see the whole park from here. Mount Morrison up there. I've done that hike quite a few times. And the rest of Dakota Ridge. All through there. Good views. I keep heading up. See what I find up here. So far there hasn't really been any class 3, but that could obviously change. Really good views. I'm liking this. The noise from 470 is very noticeable up here, but I mean, I pretty much expected that, considering that the highway's just literally right there. But yeah, that getting a great view to downtown Denver now, which is really cool. And still getting all those other views as well. This is really nice. So I just came up all of that, which so far it's been difficult class 2, a couple of easy class 3 moves, nothing too serious as of yet. I'm gonna be heading through this little notch and then probably cutting to the left is what it looks like. It looks like it's the best way to keep climbing up further on this ridge. We'll see. But yeah, you can see there's a tree in the way on this side, so probably see if I can head up through there or something, and hopefully when I get up to that point I can actually get a good view of the rest of the ridge. But we'll see. I might get up there and not be able to see anything. Who knows? All right, well, I am on the actual ridge proper up here on Dakota Ridge. I just climbed up from down there up here on the rocks, and once again, I mean, the views are spectacular up here. Views of downtown, over to Bear Creek Park and the lakes over there, and of course over there to Green Mountain, and getting some views to some other foothills over there. Red Rocks right there, Morrison all down there, that's Morrison, and that's going back up into Bear Creek Canyon. And yeah, really cool, really good views. Only thing I've been missing is a view to the south, but you can see this is the ridge. This is what the ridge looks like. So it's definitely I mean, I will say this is a good place to, you know, if you're looking to train to do some like class 3 14ers or 13ers or whatever. This is a great place, I would think, to train for it, because there's, you know, all the class 3 moves thus far have been pretty easy. And up here on the ridge proper, there's definitely enough enough exposure to make it a little spicy. I mean, it's not like, you know, crazy dramatic exposure, but there's enough to make it spicy. And what I'm going to try to do is stick as close to the ridge proper as I can and try to climb up at least to that point, and hopefully further if I can. We'll see if I can even get that far though, because it does look like the further up the ridge you go, the worse it gets. So we'll see what I can do. I'm not trying to die today, so I'm not going to do anything too risky, but this is pretty fun so far. I gotta say, this is a cool little spot. I honestly had no idea that this park was even here. I didn't even know that this park existed. And I mean, it's like a 10-minute drive from my house. I'm really glad I found out about this spot, because this is definitely a cool place to do some hiking and some class 3 scrambling, and some, you know, I mean, if you're into bouldering and rock climbing, there's a whole area back down there to do that. So it's a cool spot. But I'm gonna keep heading up. All right, well, found a little flat spot where I could do some recording, actually on some solid ground, a little piece of solid ground. But yeah, that's looking back down to where I came up from, and I'm gonna keep heading up this way a little bit further. And this is really cool. I mean, it's like a really narrow ridge. I mean, this is like very reminiscent of doing some, like, you know, class 3 kind of stuff up in the mountain, you know, further up in the mountains. This is really cool. I'm enjoying this quite a bit, actually. And like I said, for the most part, the class 3 moves aren't bad. The main thing is that it's just a really sharp, narrow ridge, and then on this side there's like pretty much no exposure. It's not bad at all. But then on this side you got some pretty dramatic exposure in some areas, so that might scare some people out of doing this. But for those of you who aren't bothered as much by exposure, this is really fun. Or honestly, if you're trying to get a little more comfortable with, you know, doing hikes that involve exposure like this would be a great place to practice. You know, just go as far up as you feel comfortable. But yeah, this is really cool. I thought when I was back that way a little bit I was getting kind of close to the top, but I can see I still have quite a ways to go. I'm not even sure if that actually is the top or not. It could be even further than that, but I kind of thought this was I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought this was the highest point on the ridge, but I was definitely incorrect about that. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna try to stay on the ridge proper as much as I can and see how much further I can get. Should probably put the phone away though. This ridge is just like one constant false summit. Every time I think I'm getting to the highest point on the ridge, I get up and then it's like, oh, there's more. It actually looks like it kind of mellows out going through here though, so I'm gonna go a little bit further, see what's up over there. I mean, honestly, haven't hiked that much. I mean, I'd say maybe like 1.5 miles, 2 miles at the most. So and as far as like rock scrambling goes, this is pretty easy, so definitely got some more energy to keep going a little further. Okay, well, I'm like almost 100% positive that that is the official Mount Glennon summit. And I mean, it's not really a mountain, it's just the highest point on this portion of the Dakota Ridge. They just call it Mount Glennon. But yeah, this trail is or not trail, but I mean, it's pretty much all off trail, but this portion of the ridge is totally mellowed out compared to what it was like further back. I mean, there's still some like boulder hopping and stuff like that. Some like you can see some like very light bushwhacking. Actually, I'm just gonna go back around this. Most of that stuff can be avoided by just going down the left side of the ridge a tiny bit. But yeah, there hasn't been much any scrambling in this portion of the ridge. Well, look at that. You actually get some views of some snow-capped peaks from up here. I was not expecting that, honestly. I did not think that I'd be getting high enough to be able to see over the foothills, but you do get a little view of that. That is really cool. And then you can get a nice view of some of the ridge. Really awesome looking ridge up here. But yeah, that's really cool. I was not expecting to get a view of any snow-capped peaks, so that was a pleasant surprise. And despite all the noise from 470, I mean, there's nobody up here, so it's still a pretty enjoyable hike because, yeah, I can hear all the noises from the highway, but it's just me by myself. So it's nice and peaceful. All right, guys. Well, I made it to the official summit of Mount Glennon at 6,473 feet. So, yeah, this is so cool. Like I said earlier in the video, you can see those views of some of those snow-capped peaks back there. Definitely was not expecting that. Over there, you get a great view of Red Rocks, Matthews Winters Park behind it, Mount Morrison right there, and then great view of that's all Bear Creek Regional Park there. I actually go to that park quite a bit because it's right next to my house, so I go like jog at that lake right there, Bear Creek Lake right there. I go jogging around it all the time. But yeah, and then downtown Denver out in the distance over there. Really cool. Really good views from up here for sure. Now that I'm on the highest point on the ridge, I can see to the south. It's not like the best view to the south, but it's something. But yeah, this is awesome. Really awesome. Well, after all that boulder hopping and scrambling and stuff, I think I've earned a little bit of a break, so I'm gonna do just that, and then I'll get back to you guys a little later when I start heading down. So cool though. Okay, I am heading back down the ridge here, and right now I'm on kind of one of the easier sections. I mean, it's just getting to a little bit of a spicier part right now, but the upper portion of the ridge is actually a lot more mellow than the lower portion. Like the part where you're climbing up to the ridge is mostly like difficult class 2, some easy class 3, and then the real, like, you know, more solid class 3 stuff is, I'd say, like the first mile or so of the ridge. But it's really, like I was saying when I was climbing up, it's really, none of it's really that bad. You've got some decent exposure in some areas and a few solid class 3 and easy class 3 moves you have to do, but I mean, it's not that difficult. Definitely, I mean, compared to like doing a class 3 14er, I would say most class 3 14ers are significantly more challenging in more ways than one than doing this. But this is definitely a great way to get some practice, or just a great place to come out and have a fun hike, because this is the most fun I've had on a hike in the Morrison area in a while. I mean, this is like right up there with Mount Morrison, except you don't have to do quite as much elevation gain, which is very nice. All right, well, I'm heading down off the ridge right now. Most of the most difficult stuff is behind me. That's the way I came down. That's definitely where the most difficult class 3 moves are, I would say. So not all that bad. And I'm now getting off of the ridge entirely. All right, guys, well, I am back at the trailhead, and as you can see, there's a few more cars here now, and I mean, basically it seemed like the vast majority of the people who are coming here right now, who are here at the park, were just at the bouldering and rock climbing area and didn't go up any further than that. I did see one guy on the ridge, but he looked like he was stopping before the Mount Glennon summit. So I mean, I was up on Mount Glennon summit for quite a while, and I mean, I had the place completely to myself. So like I said, I would definitely recommend this if you're trying to get into doing some class 3, looking for something a little easier to kind of like ease you into it, or if it's just, you know, winter time and you want to go out and do some rock scrambling and have a good time, this is a great place to come. I would highly recommend it. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for this video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel, and I will be posting more videos coming soon. So I'll see you guys on my next adventure.